having some kind of strength training exercise regimen is much more important than just like hours and hours of cardio.
So I think it's really important for everyone to find his or her own level
Okay.
of fitness. And especially if you're not getting exercise now, I think it's really important to start slowly and gently. And I don't recommend to people that they go from sort of a relatively sedentary level to being incredibly intense. That's not the way. It's a way to get injured and a way to reject fitness as opposed to embrace it.
I just find like when you have such limited time,
You do have to choose.
right? You got to choose what you like. That your fitness regimen is like off the chain crazy. So because this is Habits and Hustle, I want to know what you do to stay in such sick shape.
So you asked me to tell the truth as opposed to sort of the PR version.
Yeah, I don't want the PR version.
Because I think the problem with answering the question, which I will answer, the way it's posed is the implication is that everyone should do what I do and then, you know, they'll be awesome. And I don't believe in that, nor do I give that advice. I think it's really important for everyone to find his or her own level of fitness. And especially if you're not getting exercise now, I think it's really important to start slowly and gently. And I don't recommend to people that they go from sort of a relatively sedentary level to being incredibly intense. That's not the way. It's a way to get injured and a way to reject fitness as opposed to embrace it.
You can tell that you've done this before. You're very savvy in media. Great answer.
So
now tell me what you do.
So now what do I do?
Yeah,
I train between, depending on the week, because I'm busy and like we all are.
Yeah.
In a really bad week, no matter how bad the week is, I'll get 5 workouts of different types.
Okay.
And in a really great week where I was, had the time and the inclination, I might train as many as 11 or 12 different times.
Okay.
Each session is between 45 minutes and an hour. If I went out for a 4-hour bike ride, I'd count that as like 2 or 3 workouts.
Oh, you would? Okay.
I wouldn't count that as one workout because it isn't. It's more than that. But generally, when I'm here in the city, so for example, last week, I had a week that worked out really well. I had 12 workouts. No session was more than an hour. And within those 12, there was a great deal of variety. I'm a big believer in variety. Because if you don't do variety, first of all, you get incredibly bored. Secondly, you're going to hurt yourself.
Right, so you cross-train.
So I cross-train.
Right.
And I cross-train sort of emotionally and intellectually along with physically.
Okay, so let's just start with, what time do you wake up in the morning to start?
So in the morning, like today, I was up at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
And I was on my bike in Central Park at 6 a.m.
Okay, so what did you do between 5 and 6?
So that's a great question. I used to, because I wanted to sleep longer, because I like to sleep, and everyone needs to sleep. I would look at my workout time, which was 6 when I was meeting my friends to cycle, and I'd roll it back to like the last possible moment where I could get out of bed, brush my teeth, put on my gear, get on the bike and get outside. And what I found in doing, so maybe I get up 25 minutes before the workout, which would give me enough time to get organized. And what I found was by cutting it so close, I wasn't really psychologically ready for the workout. And I would have to sort of drag my body into it. And I wouldn't really feel good about the workout till maybe 15, 20 minutes in. And so what I realized is for the price of getting up 15 to 30 minutes earlier, I can bring my body and mind along. And then when I'm finally ready to start exercising, I'm in a much better psychological place. So why do I get up an hour early? I get up, I have a spiritual moment. I have time to shave if I'm shaving that day. I don't shave every day.
You're
brush
shaved
my
today,
teeth.
though.
I am shaved today. I knew I was going to see you.
No, that's right.
And I can do some email if I want, and I can feel very organized for the day. I can get an espresso, and I can even just sit and relax for 10 or 15 minutes, which I sometimes do as I anticipate the workout.
Okay, what is a spiritual moment? Are you praying?
I'm praying.
Oh, you
I
are?
actually pray in the morning, yeah.
Okay, what's your background?
My background's Jewish, but it's not a Jewish tradition. It's sort of an ecumenical tradition.
See, I thought you were German.
I am German, but there are German Jews.
They are, but I thought you were like, I know there are German Jews. Now I sound like a total moron, but I'm going to edit that. No, I won't. I meant like, I thought you were just solely German.
No, I worked at a German company. But my prayer practice is a very ecumenical, non-denominational prayer practice. Okay. I mean, for many people, it's really a lot like meditation.
So it's not like you're not reading the Torah, obviously.
Certainly not.
Okay, so what kind of, like, what prayer are you doing then? If it's
my own, I mean, it's my own sort of spiritual, connected, listening, reflective, meditative moment.
Are you saying like words? Are you just like humming, or what do you?
No, I'm saying words, but they would vary day to day depending on how
like
I
a mantra.
Feel. Not really, more like an expression of gratitude, expressions of love and concern for people I care about, and an intention for the day.
Oh, so you do an intention for the day too?
I do, yeah.
How long have you been doing this for?
About 8 years.
So, because I mean, I don't know, because I never met you until today. Have you always been like super into like fitness and
I've been
health?
in fitness for a long time, but not always. But I'd say really at this level of intensity for the past 15 years.
Oh, okay.
But I started off, very slowly many years ago. Mm-hmm. And I started getting into fitness in a more serious way in my mid-20s. And then every decade that I aged, I increased the volume and the intensity because you need to.
I agree. Tell me about it. I know.
We all look great at 16.
That's what I always say. It's really easy to have like a tight ass and great abs when you're like 21, and it gets much harder. You got to work much harder for less results, which is kind of really depressing in a way.
I mean, not less results, but you do have to work harder and smarter and with more expertise.
Well, with more expertise for sure. Well, because you also lose lean muscle mass as you age, right?
Not necessarily. If you do weight bearing exercise, you don't.
I was going to say, but that's why I always say like strength training workout is like having some kind of strength training exercise regimen is much more important than just like hours and hours of cardio. So that's what I was going to say. So you go today, for example, then you go for your bike ride for how long?
I was just out for 45 minutes.
Okay. And then what? Like, do you work out again? I'm
going to work out again when we're done.
Really? Okay. Yeah. So like, what are you going to do when we leave?
I'm going to work out with a trainer, and that'll be some movement work, some weights work, and probably, knowing him, some cardio work at the end. And
that's for an hour?
Just shy of an hour, probably 55 minutes.
Now, do you work out at home? Do you work out?
No, that'll be at a gym.
What gym do you?
Oh. It's a gym nearby. It's the Harvard Club.
I'm like so curious.
I also work out at Equinox. I belong to Equinox. I go to Equinox gyms all over the country. I belong to Performix House here in New York. Mendez Boxing, which is a boxing gym. Pure Yoga, which is a yoga gym.
You like yoga?
I do, yeah.
You're a yoga person.
Well, I'm not an expert, but I like it.
See, I can't get into it. I feel like I cannot calm my mind. I know they say it's so great for you and blah, 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 but I cannot get
Try hot power yoga then.
I've tried it, but I'm looking at the clock the whole time.
Really? Because hot power yoga is really intense and really hard. If a flow class that's not a heated room, for someone who wants intensity, could be boring. When you do it in a hot room, it feels very, very intense.
Right, it does.
And so for me, I agree with you. I thought I never liked yoga because I found it slow and dull and not really exercise. Hot yoga really got me into it more. Also, yoga is really good for recovery. It's good for your mind. It's meditative. It may not be your daily, you may not find it a daily activity appealing, and I don't go daily, or I don't even go weekly, but I do yoga now and then.
I just find like when you have such limited time,
you do have to choose,
right? You got to choose what you like. And I'm a hardcore person. So you can see why I like the more.
So you like berries?
I like berries.
I like berries too. Berries is great.
Yeah. Like I love that kind of work. And because I also feel like I've done something afterwards, like I never like to feel that, oh God, I spent like an hour and a half. Cause those classes are also like hours long. I mean, like I don't have like 2 hours to like get there. And in LA, a lot of the good classes, you got to get there early. You got to do the class for an hour and a half. You got to leave. You're all sweat. It's like a day process. So it's very, very difficult. So I'd rather just like do what I like and whatever else. But so do you usually do like a double day, like do 2 workouts in a day? Like how often would you do that?
Well, certainly in a week where I do 12 workouts, I've done a bunch of 2-a-days.
But sometimes you count. You said like if you do a 4-hour bike ride, that's 2.
So that's rare though. Okay. I would say I do a 2-a-day, depending on my schedule, 3 to 4 days a week.
Okay.
So my average week is probably 8 to 9 workouts.
Well, it's really funny.
Because I do take a rest day.
You do take one rest
I try
day.
to, yes.
And then you don't do anything on that day.
I really don't do anything. Like a lot of people say it's a rest day and they're like, oh, rest day. That means I just lifted weights. It's like, no, that is not a rest day. I take a real rest day.
Right. You have to recover.
Your body needs it.
I know.
And actually, a lot of experts will say you really should take 2 rest days. A lot of people who are in great shape do take 2 rest days.
Absolutely. I agree. Also, it's not good for your adrenals. Like you're like burning yourself out.
Yes.
Like I'm in the best shape when I actually am not like always going so hard.
Totally right.
And take some time off. But like, it's more for the mental.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's hard psychologically.
Psychologically, it's very difficult, right?